Good evening, children. Of course, my colleagues are also sitting over here. Still, they are also children to me only, isn't it? Good. I'd just like to ask some questions. Do you like to be original? Yes or no? You like to be original. Do you like to have your own opinion? Sure. Do you want to suppress your opinion? When your father talks to you? Why have you become silent? Why have you become silent now? Young ladies, when you get married, will you become silent when your husband talks to you? Will you silence your husband? Right. Alright, so you want to be original. You want to have your original opinion, isn't it? Intrinsic opinion, right? Right. Will you make an opinion the moment you see somebody? Will you make your opinion about somebody when you talk to that person? After talking to that person, you make an opinion. Can you be without any opinion about the person and still have the same intrinsic relationship with him? Why not? Why not? Business is different, person is different. Isn't it? Business is different. For example, when I discuss with your chairman of the institute, it is as chairman, otherwise it is Lavugataya for me. Why should there be a difference? Should there not be a difference? When I talk to Sharada, she is my friend. When I talk to her as dean, it's profession. Why the difference should not be there? Tell me. These are the things which you have got to learn. Learn not by listening. Learn by knowing, not by introspecting. Learn by being aware of the situation. If you have got to know what is awareness, you have got to be a very wild reader. Not only newspapers, very wild reader. You have got to keep reading a lot. And at the same time, you should also love to see the narration of the reading through your TVs, medias, right? In fact, I would rather love if you can even listen to carefully the advertisements. The creativity is in advertisement. Within 1 minute short, they convey wonderful, most interesting things. That would come by exhaustive reading, because whatever you have read has got to be compressed and expressed within 1 minute. Isn't it? You should do that. Isn't it? It is not engineering. Engineering also requires expression. When you go for presenting a project in an engineering, you should present it so very well that mathematics should not be spoken as mathematical symbols, but the iota of mathematics is spoken as simple, beautiful English. Can you do that? You should be able to do that. Right? Your investigator, your sir, was speaking about apple falling, right? It's full mathematics. Right? It is definitely mathematics. But then my question is, why gravity was not strong enough to pull the entire branch down to earth? Isn't it? Say, if this is the branch, if there is a gravity, right, obviously it has got to pull down like this, isn't it? Isn't it? Why not? There is a mathematics for that also, isn't it? That's what you study in strength of materials. That is exactly what you study in engineering mechanics. Is it okay? Good. But then, all right, how many of you are from computer science background? Plenty. Raise your hands. Computer science. Eh? How many of you are from artificial intelligence, computer science, all related? All AI, ML, etc. How many of you are from biotechnology? Good. So, good. Good. Very good. This is a write-up. Some write-up, okay? All right. I just would give a small cutting of this. Just a random cutting of this. Right? Tomorrow you should be able to tell that this is from Hindu newspaper. This is from Times of India. Could you get that? That is what has got to be our perfection of understanding the style of that newspaper. Could you get it? That is what is the logic. You have got to use reasoning, you have got to use logic, and what is available is a small sample of cutting, random cutting, which could come to you when you have purchased vada in the open street, and people would have folded that in the paper, and you open that paper and read it, and then you should be able to tell this is a Hindu newspaper, this is Times of India, this is Qasim Bazaar, this is Hindustan Times. You have got to tell that. Could you get that? So you have a wonderful project, even if you are AI, ML people. This is the real intelligence, the machine intelligence. Is that okay? This is one. Second, I will give you one interesting. Now, you keep tracking one news. All of you don't need to read everything in the newspaper, but you keep track of one news. If you are interested in the sports column, read only sports news. If you are interested in political things, read only that. If you are interested only reading Prime Minister of India, read only that. Right? But at the end of the day, after reading it, open your diary and write it down concisely what is that you read today. Just in not more than 50 words. Alright? Okay? And that is not enough. That is summarizing. What you have got to write next is your own editorial column on that. What you read is different. You summarize that. Beneath that, you write your own editorial column. You become the editor and write another 50 words. Right? Then, follow the track. Just follow the track. And prepare a story at the end of the week. From your diary. You have written down every day. Write a story at the end of the week, and that should become the content for a magazine. Right? And use generative AI. You have given the writing. The contents are available. Your style is known to the machine. Train the machine with your style and ask the machine to write the story of the entire week. Well structured. So, to use generative AI, you should know how to use it. Isn't it? It is not generative AI cannot do anything by itself unless you know how to drive it. So, you drive it. Get it written. You don't need to write. You have got to give only direction. It is like an autopilot car. But still you have got to sit in the pilot's place. It is an autopilot car, but still you have got to sit over there. Do that. So that's another project. So all these projects should be inspired from your reading exercise today. Problem number one, a small thrown piece. You should be able to read and you should be able to relate is this. This is the context. Could you get it? Problem number 2 is developing it as a story for a magazine, a weekend magazine, and then a month-end magazine. Could you get that? You got to do that. Number 3, most interesting exercise. You start reading 2 newspapers now. Not 1, 2 newspapers. Alright? And then if I give a piece of write-up, unlabeled, you should be able to tell now that this is Times of India or this is Hindu. Is it okay? This is what is the real problem of classification without knowing the label. It's not clustering, it is classifying, it is labeling it without knowing the label. Is it all right? And you should be very sure. Number 4, tomorrow, because you are an electronics engineer, because you are an engineer basically, because you are a computer science engineer or AML engineer, these newspapers would like to have you, hire you because of your A and ML ability. Right? Now, do you know at what time they give the print go command in Hindu newspaper? When will they start printing the newspapers? Have you got any idea? Do you know when will be the first page printed? First page will be the last printing which would happen. Okay? Do you know how the first page layout is prepared? This is a beautiful problem of biotechnology. You look at the entire genetic composition, it is so neatly organized, isn't it? Right? That is what has got to be done in the front page. The perfect layout design. A civil engineer can do this job better. A knapsack engineer of mechanical engineering can do this job much better. Show me in any newspaper a single inch of space being wasted. Right? How will they do that? And typically speaking, it is dynamic layout design. Every day the design keeps changing. How will they decide the font size in the first page? You have got to know that. You have got to beautifully understand that. So this layout design itself, some of you may not really be interested in this reading exercise, but you would get interested in observing the layout of these newspapers. This problem I wanted to solve using one PhD scholar. Even today I have not been able to get that scholar who had the great intention and great love of reading the newspapers and understanding the layout of the newspapers. That's the reason I could not do it. But this problem even today nobody has solved it. Nobody in the world has solved this problem. How to automatically prepare the layout of the first page particularly. Right? And particularly when the first page has got to be arranged when there are advertisements also which has got to get into the first page. Do you know how the newspaper has got to be prepared? Have you ever seen how is the layout of the newspaper? I'll just tell you. Okay? These are the things which you should know. If this is the newspaper, right? If this is the newspaper, how many folds will the newspaper be having? Minimum 2 folds, right? Minimum 2 folds, isn't it? And when you are sitting in the bus, you cannot, when you are sitting in the train or when you are sitting in the bus or you are sitting in the aeroplane, you cannot have this like this. So minimum it should be 4-fold, isn't it? Right? Now, when you prepare a layout, the news should be in 1 fold only. It should not go like this. Nobody will like to read the newspaper like this. Isn't it? Unfortunately, on certain days, even the Times of India, Hindustan and Hindu newspaper also will commit this mistake. You can see it, but rarely it happens, but it does happen. So your layout has got to be adjusted into the reading size. Could you get it? All right. These are the most interesting things that you have got to. So the layout design is the most beautiful thing. Well, then tomorrow you are going to know what is going to be fuzzy mathematics and fuzzy computing, which is the soft computing. I'm going to have a news. Let me just tell you one news. The Rajdhani Express, while moving through Vijayawada, had an attack by robbers. Right? In which page this news should be printed? In the national news, or in the regional news, or in the local news? Why? It is Rajdhani Express, madam. It is Rajdhani Express. It is not your local Guntur Tenali train. Right? It is Rajdhani Express. Right? Isn't it? Okay. Rajdhani Express, let us assume, has started from Thiruvananthapuram and is going to Delhi. National level. But it has happened in Vijayawada, no? The thief is from Vijayawada. Which police have got to take the action? This is where the fuzzy membership function has got to be automatically evaluated by the editor. That is why editors are going to be technical editors also. Not merely language journalist editors, they are going to be technical editors also. Could you get it? So these are all the greatest advantages that as a technocrat you can reap at the end of the day with all this new domain. Could you get it? Well, the most interesting advantage is you shall have your own opinion and your brain shall remain sharp. Number 2, most important thing. Learn to talk. Learn to express. Don't be afraid of anybody. Nobody can be a God. Absolutely there is no God at all, because the goodness in you is the God for you. That's all. God is not in the temple. God is nowhere. Right? But God is within you. Therefore, you have got to learn how to express, but not hurting somebody, not hurting the listener, but tell the truth frankly. Isn't it? Just tell the truth frankly. And be honest when you are telling. Right? Definitely, this art you have got to pick up by your extensive reading and the extensive reading of high-level diplomats. In fact, I learned the skill of talking to people. Obviously, I was a debater earlier also, but I learned the skill only when I became the director of IIIT Allahabad, because only then I used to see how after the parliament hours, both Congress people and BJP people are close friends. How they talk. You have got to really observe them. Right? They dine together in the late evening, but they do not talk anything of enmity. Right? That's what you have got to understand. Well then, your Dr. Shashi Ratnakar mentioned that don't get into argument with your father or mother. I also agree with that. But that does not prevent you from telling the truth. You should tell the truth. Right? You should honestly tell the truth. And tell towards the end, I still follow whatever you have told my dear dad, because you are my dad. That should be your final nailing, touching decision that you have got to give. Then your father and mother will also start thinking, second time, next time. I shall not argue in terms of implementing your wish, but I am placing my observations. Could you get it? I am just placing my observations. These are the reasons that I have got to go with my friend on Saturday to see this movie. Well, you are asking me that I should not go with my friend. I shall not go, and I shall so inform my friend that my father has not asked me to go with you. That I am going to inform. Don't expect me that I shall not go to the movie on my own free will. I shall tell that my father does not like. I am going to tell this. You tell your father, you tell your mother, honestly, with love, with passion. And also towards the end, tell very clearly, I shall obey you. I shall definitely obey you because you are my father, you are my mother. There is absolutely no way that I shall disobey you. Tell that. But tell it. Not argument, but you have got to tell the fact. Learn to tell the fact. When you learn to tell the fact, you will also learn to appreciate the observations of others. Only then you can be able to listen to others. If you want to be a good orator, you have got to be a very great listener. If you want to be a very good orator, you should also have got to have a very varied experience of reading, which is equivalent to listening. Right? Well then, Dr. Mohan Acharyalu spoke about a book. Right? But most interesting is, book is one. Readers are many. Right? If 100 people read one book, there shall be 100 different views about that book. That is why every one of you should learn to read anything independently and learn to take an independent opinion. Formulate your own independent opinion. Don't go for any correlation. Don't go for cross-checking. But then, most important thing that has got to be done is, it is the fusion of all the opinions which should lead to convergence. Isn't it? Fusion is not for divergence. Fusion is to find out, as Buddha has said, to find the mid path. Right? The fusion to find the mid path for the convergence, not to increase the divergence. Could you get it? So, that's the reason you should know how to take your own opinion. You should also know how to fuse your opinion with your friend's opinion also to find a beautiful mid path, so that you live, I also live, I live, and I shall let others also live with me. Thank you very much.